So welcome back to the channel. So this is Jonas and I'm into bikes, cars, SUVs, anything with wheels, DIYs and outdoors. So today in this video, we are going to be fixing the Pajero's air tire cover. So it was hit by a truck, so it's broken, and I'll show you how to fix this. The goal is to make this flat. So first thing you need to do is at least push this around. So at least you won't be applying a lot of body filler. There you go. So it's a bit more aligned. Now before you apply your body filler, you need to make sure that this side is sealed. Sealed meaning no air or water can pass through. So if this is a structural piece, then I would use fiberglass. But because this is just a cover where it's not subjected to stress or to force, I would use a quick drying glue like this with a activator. Of course, make sure that this is clean. You can use thinner or alcohol, anything to clean this from grease, dust, because that's just your concern, because you want this, at least you want this to stick. You can actually even use water, but of course water will dry up a bit longer. So I like to use either paint thinner or alcohol. So you want to create the seal because you don't want the body filler to be exposed to moisture, because this body filler will absorb moisture and it will just ruin your paint. So if you are a bit anal when it comes to having this sealed, you can also put it on the other side. We'll be using 180 to sand this. I would go 100 if we are going to be sanding a lot, and if we are going to be putting a lot of body filler, then I would go 60. Body filler will adhere better when it's rougher. So how far do you want to go? At least get this flat, and if you actually did aligned it very well, you can actually get away without body filler. But I'm sure I will be needing some here and here. But if I can just get away with just sanding, that's better. You can see it's almost flat, and this is really deep. Well, you don't have a choice but really to dig on this or sand it on an angle. So you will have a rough surface for this, or else once you apply your body filler, the body filler will not adhere to this piece, and then later it's just gonna detach itself. Let's change this to a rougher sandpaper. I will use 60. There you go. I think sanding is done for now. If I had aligned this much better, we might not need to body filler it. Clean it well. make sure to wear a mask. You don't want to be inhaling this with your activator, especially if you're not using this often. Mixing ratio would be like a golf ball to a pea. Now I will apply a thicker layer. Not immediately. Oh, that's not a pea size. Well, we can still manage using this, but you have to make sure that you move quickly because this will harden quicker. And if you notice that this body filler is a bit runny as compared to other brands, we used to use Glycerate, which is good, or Bondo, but Bondo is really, they're really hard. Here, this is the cheapest. I'm a cheap guy. So we are going to apply a bit thicker than usual. And the reason is this body filler tends to shrink. So apply first on the cracks so it will not leave any air pockets, and apply your thick layer. This was a better body filler. You actually don't need to apply a thick layer. You can manipulate this to flex to the shape of whatever you are fixing. Now, I am not going to sand this now. As I've said earlier, this brand of body filler tends to shrink, so I'm gonna leave this overnight. I'll sand it tomorrow. Let us get the taking the part from the oven. So we had it ovened. So this is the oven. So unfortunately, I don't think I captured the sanding in video. So I intentionally put a very thick body filler to show you the sanding process, but unfortunately, I don't know, sometimes stupidity hits me. So sanding the body filler, do not stick on one area like so. You have to move diagonally or vertically. So that's why good sanders are held like this, your palm on top of the sander, so that you can feel where the sander is going. Now remember, I am not putting pressure on it. So I think it's time for primer. The choice of soap is dish soap because it doesn't leave any residue. Now, why soapy water? Because there's not much body filler. I don't mind getting it wet, but if there's a lot of body fillers, I would just use a tuck rod. You know what? We're gonna do a black on black, so we might as well sand this. Because you need a mechanical bond, so as rough as you can so that primer will adhere properly. So we sanded the emblem 280 and then the rest 400. So instead of us surfacing this, then letting it dry, and then sanding it again. We are going to do a wet on wet primer and then top coat. Our choice of primer is Deltron, so it's a primer surfacer. It's just a 1-to-1 mixture of D835, which is the hardener. So unfortunately, we are going to use our base gun for our primer, because we are supposed to be using a primer gun for primer, a base gun for base, and then a clear for your clear. But because our primer gun, the cup broke off, so we can't use it. So we'll use this. So time to spray. We already wet the floor. This is thoroughly clean. We are going to do a 2-3 full coats. The drawback with this process is that after you sprayed your primer, there is no opportunity for you to double check for sanding marks. So it is what it is, but this is a faster process because after the primer, then base will come next. So we are not going to push through with our wet on wet application. It's because of this. So this is unacceptable for me. So we are going to let this dry until tomorrow, and then guide coat it and then spray it. Well, that is the only reason why I want to do a wet on wet process, because tomorrow I'll be working, so I won't be able to do it on the day. So I might do some sanding when I get back from work, but yeah, I was trying to avoid that, but I think it's dry enough, so at least maybe we can finish it today. So we are going to sand this with 800. Always use sanding block. Of course, we need to guide coat it so we can see imperfections easier. At first, I was not thinking of getting this as perfect as possible, because I am going to replace this in the future. I am thinking of making a fire pit that we can bring when we go camping, that will fit on top of the spare tire like this, but it's going to be a thick metal. But as we all know, projects are always piled up, and getting one done is a challenge. I can actually use the sander, but because I believe it's still not 100% cured, so I want to be gentle as possible. Now you can see the imperfections, so just do it portion by portion. If you're happy with that, then go to the next one. So I like to finish this flat first, and then next this, and then next this. Again, with sanding, it's just feeling where your sanding block goes. This is flawless now. So all we have to do now is to knock these corners. If you can see, the corners are all crisp. And then sand this a bit. And I guess we are going to finish this today. Just clean this thoroughly, and then we are going to spray. Jet black, again Deltron. So this is a 2-1-1 mixture, 2 parts base, 1 part thinner, 1 part hardener. So we are done. Unfortunately, we forgot about that one again. So we do have some here, but I don't care. As long as it's not cracked, I'm happy about it. Again, because we are going to create a fire pit soon. This will be, let's say this is temporary, permanently temporary. I just hope you like this video. Peace.